Safia from Magic Light Artista. This is my Calligraphy for Beginners alphabet series. I'll be doing a lesson for every letter of the alphabet. We will be doing 10 different styles in uppercase and lowercase. I will be demonstrating the tutorial with 2 different pens. One will be an easy to find Crayola marker for everyone, and the other will be a pointed pen for those who are interested in learning pointed pen calligraphy. So I'll be doing the lesson using both. So don't forget to subscribe if you're new to my channel, and if you would like to receive a notification when I upload a new video, please click on the bell icon below. I'm going to use the same supply which I used for the earlier letters. We're going to use a thick smooth paper, and I have mentioned the reason to use a specific paper many times in my earlier tutorials. If you're new to calligraphy and if this is the first time you're visiting my channel, I have many videos on the basics of calligraphy for very beginners, like basic strokes of calligraphy, how to form letters from basic strokes, on the link above. So don't forget to watch them and learn, and the rest of it will be much easier for you to follow. I have tested many nibs and found that the Nikko G nib is the most beginner friendly nib with very good ink control, so I advise you to use that as well. Then I use a Crayola supertips marker as it allows me to write smaller letters than with the normal thick Crayola marker. But if you don't have a super tips, you can use the normal Crayola marker. We're just looking for the chisel tips, so it's not a problem with either. So today we're going to do lowercase I. Let's start with a basic calligraphy style I. I do the upstroke and then I come down like this and do a small U. You know the underturn from the basic strokes, so we do an underturn for the I. Now for the second style, let's do the same I, but this time the underturn will be more of a half circle. We're going to do like a small half circle as the underturn. Now for the third style, we're going to use the compound curve from our basic strokes. I do the upstroke, the connector from the previous letter, and then instead of going down from there, I do a small upturn and then a downturn. So that's our compound curve in a compressed version. Fourth style. For this, I'm doing the upstroke and then I'm doing a small C. Again in a compressed way, not as spaced out as the usual C we do. And once we put the dot on top, we get an I. Fifth one. Let's do a loop die for this. I do a small loop at the top of the upstroke and do the I. For the sixth one, I'm gonna draw some guidelines so you know where to start and how far you have to go. Now the upstroke in this, I'm not going to take it all the way up to the waistline. I'm starting the upstroke from the baseline, and before I reach the waistline, I stop it halfway, and then I do the I starting from the waistline. So if you're confused about the waistline, the baseline and all, don't forget to go watch my video on the basic strokes in the link above. I have everything explained over there. So moving on to the seventh style. This is going to be a rigid style. So a small zigzag and put the dot. As the seventh style, I'm gonna do a curled I. So I start from the top for the I after the upstroke, and then I come down and end it with a small curl. You can see I do the swirl at the end of the eye. So the ninth one will be a spaced out or a dragged eye. So I draw a long upstroke as the connector, and then I do the downturn. I drag it across to create a dragged eye. So the 10th style would be a flourish as usual. I start from the upstroke and then I come down on our underturn, and then without ending it at the waistline, I go all the way up. I do a small crisscross and come back. But you can see now I did it without considering the space for the dot. So this one is not really right. So now I'm going to do a one which is exactly correct. So I do it like this, leaving out space for the dot, and then I keep the dot. So this is one way of doing this style, and another way would be spacing it out a little bit more. So I'll do that for you as well. So this is a bit linear, but I'm gonna do it a bit bigger. The flourish is going to be a bit bigger in the next one. You see, I space it out a little bit more and then do a bigger flourish than earlier. And I fill that space with that ending and then keep the dot. So these two are correct, but the first one is not the way to do it. So we are done with our 10 styles from the Crayola marker. Now let's move on to do it with the pointed pen. So we start with the basic style. I do a very light upstroke as the connector, and then I come down with the downstroke and do an underturn. The second style goes the same. So most of the people ask me, how do I get the thickness in this? Like, it looks a bit fancy. The thing is, the thickness varies depending on the pressure you apply to the nib. So if you apply more pressure to the nib, you'll get a thick line, but if you draw it very lightly, you get a thin line. Now I'm doing the fourth style. So this is the C, letter C with a dot, turning it into a I. So here we are doing the looped I. I do a loop at the top, just as we did with the Crayola marker. Now this one will be more clear with this pointed pen. You can see the difference between the two because clearly the connector is going to the middle of the letter. Now for the zigzag. So I do a very straight upstroke and then a very straight downstroke and then again a very straight upstroke. So it looks like a zigzag with the middle line thicker. So for the curled eye, I come down in the downstroke like this and then end it with a swirl at the end with a thin line. Now for the dragged eye or the 9th style, I drag the connector like this and then do the dragged underturn. Now the flourish. You may wonder, what is a flourish? A flourish is basically an embellishment to the letter. So there are certain rules and regulations when it comes to flourishes. I mean, they are not really rules and regulations, but they make the flourish more beautiful if you do it like that. So I'll be doing a video later on about the flourishes. Alright, so we're done with all 10 styles with the pointed pen and the Crayola marker. Let's move on to the word of the day. I hope I inspired you to do calligraphy by your own and make your handwriting much better than now. I'm sure you all have nice handwriting, but for me, I had terrible handwriting, and it is a big thing for me to get nice handwriting. So we're done with the lowercase I. Also, don't forget to comment the favorite style of yours in the comment section below, and see you in lowercase j. Also, you can find a free practice sheet in the description below, so you can keep practicing your 10 styles. So if you like this video and would like to see more videos like this, please don't forget to subscribe and turn on your bell notifications. Bye bye.